We're made by Made. We're from Leipzig in Saxony, and we produce protein, insect-based protein, which is regional and sustainable. And we want to face the global protein gap in future because we are producing insect protein with a modular plant, which is based completely on a circular economy, which means that we only use organic residues as input for our larvae, and we produce with that the protein and also organic fertilizer and fat. So we have a complete 100% circular economy that way.
That sounds great. Can you explain a little bit how you came to this idea?
It's because due to the global rising population, we will face a protein gap, which means that in future we won't have as much protein as we will need. Due to the rising demand as well for soy and for fish meal. And with our insect protein, we can challenge this in a way that we have an environmental sound protein. Yes.
And when did you start it with the whole project?
The company was founded in the end of 2017 by Kai Hempel and Dr. Jonas Fink. And now, already 4 years, we have our first modular plant, which is the only modular plant that is producing insect protein in that way that exists.
And what is the plan for the next year? So where you want to be 1 year ahead?
In 1 year, we want to build our second plant. Right now, we have our first plant ready, and we're in the phase of scaling up our production. And when we have 100%, we'll produce several tons of larvae a day, and we will use 18 tons of input of organic residues per day as well. In the future, we want to revolutionize the protein industry globally, so we see ourselves in an international level with several plants running in the world.
Can you a little bit explain the supply chain behind the whole model? So where you get the resources, or from whom you get the resources, and who are the end customers in the end?
So here it gets a little bit complex. We get our sources or organic residues from different suppliers. You would be surprised by how many suppliers we get our organic residues, which is also a problem you're facing. There are so many organic residues in the world. We get them, for example, from the people who are delivering to supermarkets. So this would be like apples or carrots, which simply aren't beautiful enough for the supermarket. And also we get bread, which can't be used anymore for the bakery. And we can basically use any kind of organic residues as input because the larvae of the black soldier fly can feed on anything. But we only want to use residues.
And do you already sell this product into big retailers and supermarkets, or is it more an exclusive product for the end customers?
So here it also gets interesting because for different products we have different approaches. For example, what you can see here now, this is our fertilizer. This is the only product that we have which can be sold to the end customer, B2C, right? The fertilizer consists of 100% of the feces of our larvae, so completely sustainable as well. But our other products, like the protein meal, for example, we sell it B2B, to pet food industry, for example, or to agricultures, and now as well to the industry which is producing, for example, chicken, because then they are making a product out of it. So it's completely B2B, just as our fat as well. So we sell it for other people to make a product out of it.
Okay. Can you show us a little bit more the product, maybe?
Yes, of course. I was just going to say.
And explain a little bit what we see here.
So here, what we see here, this is the fly, the black soldier fly. And the very special thing about it is that, as you can see here, the fly doesn't need much. It doesn't need food. It only needs water and light and a temperature as well. It needs around 28 degrees, which is why we have the infrared lights here as well. And one fly can lay 500 to 800 eggs of the larvae. This is the next step. So here we have the larvae. And here we have them in a very small phase. Here we have them a little bit larger, as you can see. Here they are the largest. This is basically how they look just before we dry them. And then when we dry them, this is how they look. This is what we can see here. So these are our larvae dried. We dry them in an oven. And then after they are dried, we press them. And then we received this protein meal. And it has a protein content very similar to soy and fish meal as well. So it's around 45 to 55%, so very high protein content. And we also receive this fat as well, which is a alternative to palm oil because it is regionally produced. And you can make, for example, soap out of it as well. And here we have our fertilizer as well. So what you can see is from our whole production, we only use residues as input, and we receive these products, which we also use 100%. So our whole concept is a circular economy.
That is amazing. So, and we saw the whole production chain here.
Yes.
in several steps. I can imagine it's not so easy, and the plant looks a little bit different.
Yes.
But
a little bit bigger.
A little. It's okay. Can you maybe explain a little bit more what does the plant look like and how resource efficient is it built?
So the plant itself is built on 2,500 square meters, and the special thing about it is that it only runs on shipping containers, which makes it complete modular. So, for example, our re-ring models are only in shipping containers, or reproduction as well. So the flyers that you can see here now, they're usually in a shipping container. And the idea behind that is that you can build or plant anywhere in the world because you can simply ship those containers to anywhere where there is a lot of residues that are arising. So if you, for example, have a potato farm and you have lots of potato scraps that you have at the end as well, and you would also like to feed your aquaculture which you have, we could totally fill this gap because on one hand we can use the organic residues that you have rising, and we also provide regionally sustainably produced protein for you as well.
So that means you actually extend the business model of the farmers in some countries?
Well, we have an industrial approach, so our whole plant is highly automated, which means that for right now we have 2,500 square meters. This is the smallest possible plant which is running itself economically, but we can make the plant a lot larger. So the next plant we build could be 10,000 square meters, or it could be 20,000 square meters. From now on, it only gets bigger, which means you would need a large farm to fill this gap. So the idea is to always sell the end products as well, right?
I could imagine it's not so easy to find investors for this kind of projects. How you are funded, and what is the background? What is your plan there?
So right now we are funded by local investors that we have from Leipzig, but also we are funded by many funding projects. For example, the LIFE project here, this is the flag from it, from the European Union, which is a funding program that only approaches programs which are good for the environment, which we are. So we have several funding projects which are also regional for Saxony as well, because we are basically making this whole region stronger because we have this industrial approach and we are creating jobs. So in that way we have lots of support financially, but of course we would like to welcome investors soon as well.
So last two questions.
Yes.
What do you expect here from the Impact Festival? And the last one, how do you like it?
We expect to meet other people who are just as fascinated like we are from sustainability, who are driven by it, and who actually want to live it and do it just like we are doing it and not just speak of it. We would like to meet investors as well. And also, until now, having a really good time. Yeah, so meeting other people that are living in the same bubble and are also driven by sustainability is always good. Of a reminder to yourself that you know that we can all have faith in the future. So yeah, looking forward to meet more people.
Amazing.